And so let us get rid of every weight and entangling sin. Let us run with endurance. It's not a sprint. This is not a sprint. This is not a short race. This is a marathon, triathlon. It is those who love racing, 24 hours of Le Mans. It's a long race. It is a long race. And in order to make it through, we must keep our focus on Messiah. We must. We cannot win. We cannot live in the victory Messiah has without looking to Messiah. We can't. In him, we have victory over death and sin. Apart from him, we have nothing. John 15. Focusing on Messiah, focusing on Yeshua, Jesus, the initiator and perfecter of faith. He's the one that started it. He's the one that came down. He's the one that initiated it all with a death on the cross. He's the one that came down from his throne and died in our place. And he's the one that perfected it. God gave us the law at Mount Sinai. Not that he would save us, but that he would show us the need of a Savior. And that the law only pointed to a greater redemption, a greater salvation. That the sacrifices God commanded the priests to do on Yom Kippur, the Day of Atonement, once a year, that the Mosaic covenant was conditional. As long as they obeyed the Torah, as long as they looked to God and obeyed the Torah and did these sacrifices with a pure heart, looking to God. But when Messiah came and died on that cross, not only was he the sacrificial lamb, the sacrifice of sin for all time, once for all, to atone for all sin, the past, present, and future, that upon him we have forgiveness of sins, grace, mercy, salvation. It starts with him. It starts and begins with Messiah. And it ends with Messiah. He is the first and the last, beginning and the end. There's no one greater than Messiah. There's no other name under heaven by which we must be saved. For the joy set before him, that it was his pleasure to die in our place. That even though Messiah on earth pleaded with the Father, Lord, let this cup pass from me, but not my will, but your will be done. It pleased him to die on that cross for you because he wanted a relationship with you. He wanted you. He cried out for you. He died for you. There is no greater love than this, than a man who would give up his life for his friends. For the joy set before him, he endured the cross, disregarding its shame, and has taken his seat at the right hand of the throne of God. That in being obedient to the Father, died in our place, fulfilling the will of God, fulfilling everything that the Old Testament talked about and prophesied. It all pointed to Messiah, redeeming his people and redeeming the nations. That in him, both Jew and Gentile would come together and worship God in one body and one spirit. He was crushed for our iniquity. It pleased God to crush him, Isaiah says. And for a moment, all sin for all time was upon Messiah. But when he broke the curse of sin, saying, "It is finished," and rose again on the third day, he was glorified with the Father, and now is seated at the right hand, able to intercede for you and me. That we will be in his presence, but we have to trust in him first. We have to submit to him. We have to let go of every weight and entangling sin and run with endurance. It's not trusting in him and then continuing to live the life we used to live. It's living for him and keep on living for him and turning from what we used to do, running this race with endurance. Paul said at his end of his ministry, "I have run this race. I've kept my eyes on Messiah. I have finished the race." Why? Verse 7 of chapter 12. It is for discipline that you endure. God is treating you as sons. For what son does a father not discipline? But if you are without discipline, something all have come to share, then you are illegitimate and not sons. The endurance comes with not just enduring the temptation, but enduring the times when God is just, when we do fall, when we do stumble, when we get a hard heart, when we get stubborn in our flesh and we do what we want, God chastens us. God chases us. God calls us back to us. God causes things in our life to happen to us to turn our eyes back to him. He disciplines us. Just as he disciplined Israel every time they turned away from God. He didn't reject him. He didn't reject them. He disciplined them every time. And so their exile was him disciplining them. You know what? Go to your room. That's what he said. Go to your room. Discipline. If we're not disciplined, if we're not chastised by God, chastened by God, then we are not his sons and daughters, but we are illegitimate children. Besides, we are used to having human fathers as instructors, and we respected them. Shall we not much more be subject to the Father of spirits and live? If we respect the fathers God gave us on earth, or any parent God gave us on earth, how much more should we respect and honor the Father of all spirits and live?